Hey, it's Empress Rose, and welcome to our collective reading. We're going to start with the Moonology deck. This reading is for whenever you watch it. Okay, Moonology is talking right off the bat here. Wow, all the air signs are here. We have Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. And that's really funny because those are all communication signs, and I suddenly got a frog in my throat. And then we have Virgo. So we'll start with Gemini. We'll go in the order that they appear in the zodiac. Okay. Communication is key. Yes. So this could not be clearer with every air sign on the deck. Communication, thoughtfulness, intellect. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. So this is about adventure that something we've never done before, or some sort of place we've never gone before. Perhaps this is speaking up in a place where you've never spoken up before. The new moon is just, we don't know what's going to happen. All we know is that communication is very important. We don't know where it's going. We don't really have it. We haven't been here before. This is to us a new path, a new journey. We haven't done this before. So communication is key, you know. I'm reminded of like when you have a little baby, you're supposed to everything you do, you're supposed to sort of narrate it. It gets a little old after a while. And just kind of want to be silent with somebody for a while. That's also okay. But it's sort of like, well, you know, shoes are very new to you. So I'm going to describe how I'm putting on some socks, and then I'm putting on some shoes, and then I'm going to tighten the shoes a little bit so they don't fall off. And that whole thing, like just kind of talking through some sort of new thing or process, either that you're going through or that someone else is going through. Then we have a win-win outcome is forecast, full moon in Libra. I love this. So this is when all is said and done, when it's all out there. We have a very even, reciprocal relationship. Everybody wins here. You win, I win. We're both getting what we need. It's a compromise, but it's not like don't give that up. It's like we're both going to get our needs met here. We're both getting what we need out of a situation. So all parties involved, whether it be 2 or 5 or 7, are getting what they need out of the situation. So if there's conflict and we need to talk about it, we need to communicate about something, we're all going to come away like much better for it. So this is, I think, an encouragement to communicate. If you've been a little silent, or if you've had like overly intense communications in the past, this is to kind of mellow that out and be like, hey, you know, everybody can win here. Everybody can come out of this with their needs met. So communicating, and then also this like really hopeful message that when we're communicating, and this could be even, I'm thinking of forms to fill out, or making complaints to an organization or something like that, like communicate, whether that's through a form or something like that, and a win-win outcome is forecast. Okay. Now for our one little earth sign in the middle of this, you are good enough. Didn't we get this last week too? I think so. So you're good enough. You're going to be okay. You have what it takes. If this is a little challenging for you, you do have the skill set, or you're building the skill set. You are good enough. So this isn't about, I would say that this situation, and I was getting that a little bit with the full moon in Libra, the situation does require you to have some faith in yourself and have some faith in your ability to communicate in all the ways and things you've learned about smart communication, about good communication. You are good enough. You're equal to these others. I mean, this is like a really strong sign of equality and fairness. And you are equal to other people. So if you're in an environment where you have all these like big players and whatever, and you've somehow been thrown into this environment of, you know, big players in your field, you're there as an equal for sure. And you need to communicate like that as well, that you are an equal. And the communication that you bring forward will reflect that, needs to reflect that. So you're bringing in this fullness, this understanding of who you are, and that you are good enough and you are enough, actually. So, and then bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. Again, being authentic. So again, with like the balance of the situation, we have something where we don't know what the outcome is. We just know we're being asked to communicate, and we're being asked to communicate authentically. So Aquarius is a very authentic, emotional, it's the water bringer. So to me, it's a very clear understanding of your emotions, an intellectual approach to emotional ideas. It is still an air sign. It's communicating, it's thinking energy, and then we're talking about emotions. We're talking about that transition between thinking and emotions, and how those things, the heart and the head, coming together and working together. So you're being authentic. You're communicating an authentic self. This says bring love into the situation. And that is also a great idea. Why not? So it is something where you don't know what's going to happen when you're authentic. You don't know what's going to happen when you say something or speak up or clearly express your authentic self. You don't know where it's going to go. But you're still, even though there's this unknown aspect to where you're headed with this, it's still very important to do that. And then our full moons over here, when all is said and done, there is some fairness. You are equal to everyone else in this situation. Not better than, not less than, but equal to. And it should turn out pretty well. And you can do a good job. So I really like this message. There's nothing's coming in as a warning other than, or just watch out or anything like that. It's just communicate clearly who you are. I don't know, probably go really well. And you can communicate clearly who you are because you don't have anything to be ashamed of. I think we hit that last week too. You don't have anything to be ashamed of. And this one hurts. Okay. All right. So these two, the one that hurts is the memory. So this is obviously feeling like a painful memory to me. That's the one that jabbed me in my hand here. And then it looks like a little bit sort of that concept of PTSD, because here we have these like, this crow is remembering all these different places. But to me, they're sort of pulsing red here. And with the way it hurt my hand as it was emerging, and there's sort of some bad memories here. And so this could be part of this challenge with communication, is maybe you have spoken up before and it's not gone well. And you're remembering all the times when you spoke up, when you participated in something, when you came to communicate about something and it didn't go well. You were shut down. You were told you didn't know what you were talking about. You were told that you didn't remember something correctly, but you do remember. You remember very clearly several different situations and scenarios. So that could be causing problems. And of course, we've all had difficult communications with people where others did not respond well, or maybe we even weren't able to communicate very clearly or very healthfully or very well. And so then we have these memories of, well, that went bad like multiple times in my past. And I'm not too stoked about, why would I jump into that again? Why would I want to do that again when it's gone so poorly before? This is all about a long-term relationship, it seems like. A bond. And maybe you're remembering prior relationships, prior friendships, prior romantic relationships, family situations where you've spoken up before and it hasn't gone really well. I mean, some people have such supportive families, and other people have families that tend to shut them down, tell them, they aren't good enough, tell them that their ideas are stupid or invalid or actually somebody else's. And so we have this like bond here about a long-term relationship, maybe even about a commitment. And maybe you've had like commitments in the past where you've brought, your best or someone else that haven't worked out, like relationships that haven't worked out in the past. So this is what this looks like, whether they're friendships or romantic relationships, or even family relationships can even set the stage, of course, for our future relationships, of what we can expect, how we can expect to be treated, what we expect of other people, and how we think, people are like, look for someone who feels like home, unless of course the home you grew up in isn't that great. Then do not look for someone who feels like home. Look for someone that feels a little different, a little better, because that home foundation creates a familiarity, and then whether it's healthy or not. So you can have this familiarity with really unhealthy relationships, and then that's what you seek out in your adult life, is something that feels familiar, feels like this, feels like home, but home actually wasn't healthy, and it may take you a long time to figure that out. So anticipation, looking forward to something. So there's an event coming up perhaps where you're looking forward to this event. Yeah, anticipating something. Or maybe it is also just like, maybe you are, because of these memories, this has created an anticipation. So these could go both ways, except for the way this one was painful when it came out. And I'm really seeing more like anticipating difficulty because of past experiences. And then we have territory. We have people being territorial. What's mine? What's not mine? I mean, it's interesting because like who's got the expertise, or whose is what's here, and that kind of thing. And there could be some sort of dispute over whose is what's. I mean, being territorial isn't generally a bad thing. I mean, all animals have to be territorial. It's their place. They're protective of their homes. They're protective of their food sources. You know, their hunting territory. They're protective of that. So it's not wrong to have good boundaries. In fact, this somewhat seems like good boundaries, but they may be being challenged. And I think communication is key here, is about who does what. Where is this boundary between us? It's reminding of good fences make good neighbors. It's important to have that clarity of, you know, what lawn is yours and what lawn is your neighbor's. Like, what are you taking care of? What's your responsibility? What's your legal responsibility? And what's their responsibility? And with this too, almost has a sense of legal responsibility, or really clear sets of obligations. And you know, what am I doing? Where do we delineate what you do? Where do we delineate what I do? Where do we delineate what you talk about, or your thing? So this could be a conversation that needs to be had about boundaries, and perhaps you're anticipating that it's going to go poorly, because you've had past experiences with somebody about boundary conversations, and it has gone poorly. Okay, let us hope and pray for a few more cards from this deck, because I don't know, about 4 more before we even get to the tarot. I mean, I love it when they talk to me, but okay, however many cards you want, okay? It's yours. It's your reading. I'm just here delivering the messages. I should have stopped at the one. It was 1 card. And now I'm stuck with this situation right here. Do I let these cards go? Because this could be complicated. Okay, here's the main card. When the weavers built the sun. So this card is about having a big dream that's bigger than how you know what to do with it. It's bigger than anything you've done before. It's an idea, it's a vision, and you don't necessarily know how you're going to get there. One step at a time, intuitively making up the way, making the path as you go there, making it up as you go along. There is maybe some, and pulling, and not just making it up, but like pulling in advice from here, and perspective from here, and a new step from here, and something you've never done but you heard about over there, and getting an expert opinion on this aspect here. So it's a big project. It's big. It's what's cool is that you don't necessarily know how it's going to unfold. That means it's big. That means maybe other people haven't done it before. Maybe you've never known anyone that was able to accomplish this or do this. It's just outside of the scope of your known universe. And so there's a sense of needing to create a path and intuitively, go through it, like creating a path has dead ends to it, right? You like go, well, let's go over here. Oh, actually there's a cliff there. So we're going to have to tack this way now and go back this way. Oh, there's a cliff coming up there. So now we're going to, so it's got some dead ends and some things that don't work out and don't pan out. But overall, this is about a vision where you're not 100% sure how to get from point A to point B. All is calm upon these shores. So peacefulness, I hear the ocean, of course. And flow. So there's calmness. Cool. That's good. All the willows know your name. So this is like being very familiar in an environment where people know you, you know other people. It's a very familiar place. People knowing your name. And maybe that's part of the communication, is that people need to know your name. And when it's time to say goodbye, letting go of something. These are speaking to me personally about my personal aspects here. It's almost like it's okay. There's like this, it's okay. It's okay. And there's a lot of people that know you. Maybe more people need to know you. There could be something about your name needing to get out there. When it's time to say goodbye, feels to me like a way of doing things that you haven't done before, that you've been doing, a way of doing things that you have been doing before, haven't done it before, letting go of something you haven't done before. A way of doing something that you've been doing, like saying goodbye to maybe a lot of people, or maybe just a way of functioning. It could be a name change too. And then weavers watch the dragons fly. This is observe, watching your own thoughts, watching your mind, sitting back as an observer, especially if there's intense emotions involved. And there's also this sense of letting go of something here and just watching it go, just watching it flow away from you. And it may have to do with a group of people, and it may have to do with a name, what you're called, an identity with a group. But I think in this stage, this is about just watching your thoughts, about how does it feel when you think about this change? How do you feel? What do you think about when you think about this change? Watching your brain work through some things. There seems to be like a just watch and think about this, like everything's okay. Everything's okay. You're letting something go. It's time to let something go. But the first step is to sort of imagine it. I mean, one of the theories about our dreams is that sometimes they come to like, well, what if this happened? How would you feel about that? And they come to prepare us. Sometimes some dreams can be all different things, but some dreams are there to come to prepare us for something, for the future, for our own future, for a decision we might need to make. And it's a way to kind of play it out in our minds of like what happens. Not all dreams are like this, but it's a way to play it out in our minds about what would happen if this happened. How would I feel? How would I respond? And just watching that and looking at that is what I'm seeing right now, considering letting go of something. And it might have to do with your name. It might have to do with a title that you have, but there's like a calmness to it, and watching something happen. That almost seems like a little bit separate from this other stuff, but maybe for some of you it's not. Okay. Okay, let me make sure I have it upright. That's hilarious. I'm making sure I have it upright, and what we have from the bottom of the deck underlying the reading is the Hanged Man, which is an upside down possum, which is very difficult to tell if it's part of the, if it's upright or reversed, because it's the Hanged Man, which is really funny because a lot of things have come out like there have been some verbal faux pas here that have come out reverse of what I was trying to say. So that's either something, no, that's part of the reading. That's part of the reading. So the Hanged Man is something that's been on pause for a while. So this is the topic of the tarot part of this reading, is something that's been on pause for a minute. Maybe playing dead, right? Possums are known for playing dead, and they're known for hanging upside down. So it's the perfect Hanged Man card. It's my favorite card in this deck. I'm always happy when it comes out because it's just so clever. This possum playing dead, a situation that was playing dead. Past, present. I'm holding the deck upside down now. Past, present, inner landscape. What's at issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. So it was playing dead, but it could be coming out of hibernation or emerging from sort of this stasis. And it was a stasis to protect something. It was something needed to be preserved and protected, and that's why it had to go into stasis there. All right. In the past, Star card, hope and reasons to hope. This is where you've been. Yeah, maybe taking some strong steps, maybe learning some difficult lessons. In the middle of difficulty, this hope came, this idea came, this bright shining star came, and it woke you up, and like the sun, except for it was a star, and it maybe felt a little distant, a little far away, but it suddenly seemed so close and so tangible, and like you could reach out and touch this thing. It was almost there. And then it went into stasis, clearly. But you had this like really hopeful flash of insight, flash of hope, hopeful insight. And then we're in Four of Pentacles, which makes a lot of sense for actually the first cards that came out. Well, it's this one too. It's this thing of the Four of Pentacles, of being focused on what you have. Again, we have these cardinals here, and I'm not 100% sure about the cardinals, but there's 3 cardinals. And this is safety, security, focusing on what you have, not making risks, not doing any risk taking, but being very cautious. So you had this big, bright hope, and then you got very cautious. It was almost like, ooh, I better hold on to what I have, and not wanting to take a leap of faith out into this big, bright hope, and to this great idea. But really, this could have been taking stock about what you have, really focused on what you do have, and being very cautious and careful to keep what you have and not taking risks where you might lose it, where you might, right? Because there's a big rabbit over here that this fox wants, but instead the fox is focused on these rabbits right here. It's like a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. So you're keeping what you've got. You're being very cautious with what you have, saving what you have, because yeah, maybe you could jump over and get that, but if you don't get it, then you also lose everything you have right here. So it's a sense of, yeah, cautious, being cautious and not risking what you have for this dream over there. This would be like maybe spending a lot of money to invest in something, but you maybe had that idea, but you didn't do it because you're trying to hold on to what you already have. So cautious, saving energy here is where you are. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. So this could be you, or this could be someone outside of you that you're thinking about or admiring and wanting to emulate. This King of Pentacles is maybe what you're striving for, what you're wanting to do. It's investment. It's thinking about investments of the future. It's hoping that this investment into what you have now pays off in the future. This is a person that may be how you're starting to integrate these ideas into yourself, but you might be looking to someone else as an example. You might be thinking about somebody you know that really invested in something and it paid off in spades. So this is like accomplishment, maturity. Maybe you're saving money and hoping and thinking about the day when, you know, this like stock or bond or whatever comes to maturity. And so this investment, and then you this savings and this investment, and then you are, you know, rich. I mean, the King of Pentacles is all about a person who's reaping the rewards of careful investments of either time or energy. So that's and they've been able to transform a little to a lot through investment, not through risk taking. So this would be like investing in bonds, not stocks. And I'm not your financial advisor, but that's the vibe, is thinking about long-term investments versus short-term risks, and not wanting to lose what you have. So and this is this about relationships? This looks like it's literally about money and a job and all of that. So yeah, and then what's the issue here is 10 of Wands, but it's upside down. So it's either like refusing to put a burden down and like continuing to carry something forward, even though it's not necessary, and the time for you to continue worrying about that and doing that and dealing with that is over. But it can also be a gravity assist, like something in your environment is taking this burden from you. So maybe you're like saving your money, you're really thinking about investing it, you're really thinking about like, wow, if I really save this right now, if I'm cautious with this, then eventually I'm going to reap the rewards over here, and that's what I really want. I really want to be the king, the king of money, you know, or the king of this fine investment, whether it's even time. You know, you could be being very cautious with your time in the hopes that that's going to pay off in the future. So it is delayed gratification and delayed satisfaction. This 10 of Wands could be like a financial advisor that's like, let me help you with that. Let me help you invest this, you know, for good or for bad. But it could be an unintentional investment. Someone, I don't know that it's a person, but there's something in your environment that's helping with the whole thing. And maybe you're not able to release something either. You're finding it difficult. Well, and then we had this card too. When it's time to say goodbye, you might be finding it difficult to let go of a worry and a concern that's causing you to perhaps be overly cautious. I mean, caution is so just one of those things where there's some sort of sweet spot in there, and you can go from overly cautious to overly risky, and you hit the sweet spot someplace. There's a couple seconds there where you're just right. The porridge is just right. So, but this is like maybe having some difficulty letting go of something, maybe letting go of a bad investment, you know, pouring good money after bad, having a difficult time letting go of something. But no, it almost seems there's also this sense of like a slide. Like in the upright, it's like this ladder where you're working towards something. There's some flow here. But the 10 of Wands is when you come to the part where you don't have to worry about it anymore, where you can put the burden down. But that's either you're not at the part where you can put the burden down, and maybe you are at the part where you can put the burden down, but your brain won't let you put the burden down, or somebody's taking something and like, here, unburden this. Let me take this box from you. Let me take this heavy thing from you. But there seems to be an easiness, like too. Well, that would be someone taking it from you, is like not needing to worry about it because it's in someone else is taking care of something. Like this 10 of Wands in particular has this sort of like the salmon going up the ladder, you know, going upstream. And this is almost like the thing is things are going downstream. So things are maybe flowing. Oh, and that's what we had here too. Things are flowing and maybe helping you release some of this clinginess, because maybe you wouldn't let it go. All right, well, in your environment, you have Ace of Pentacles, a new opportunity, a new job, a new thing coming in, a new opportunity with this Ace of Pentacles, a new project, a new way of making money. It's like brought to you too. And with this Ten of Wands, there's like something brought to you. Oh, look at this star here above this, and then this star, the pentacle here. So maybe you had this great idea in the past and you've been really cautious with it. But now here comes this new opportunity, a new job, but it's something from the past. Oh yeah, because we have the Hanged Man. So this isn't a brand new opportunity. This is an opportunity or a job based on something you had hoped for from the past, based on something you maybe submitted to in the past, or something you maybe asked for in the past, or really wanted, or really thought you could do. And this is like a really concrete, because these two are sitting next to each other and they're so similar, there's just this like dream and then a concrete offering related to this dream that you had in the past. So something that's been on hold. And it was a dream, but now there's a concrete offering. This is risky to say. This is risky for me to say because, like, you know, we can have these like hopes, and then, you know, some of them are going to have real life situations that emerge from them, right? We have like wanted to do something and then achieved that thing, like wanted a new place to live and then got a new place to live, wanted a new car or a new bike, and then we got the new car and the bike. Like, we've had these hopes and they have come true. But as a tarot reader, there's something a little bit delicate and needing to be cautious about, like having, especially with a general reading, having building up hopes that should have been let go of, that are ready to be let go of. And then this reading's coming in doing sort of the opposite of, there's this past hope where there's a concrete offer, and it might not be exactly matching up to the past hope or the past promise or the past whatever, but there is something very concrete that is related to something you wanted to do in the past that you thought was possible and feasible. So there is this concrete offer here, a concrete job on something that's been sort of paused. So I do want to be careful with that, because we do have dreams that we have for a time that help us move in a direction, but they don't necessarily, they're not here forever. They're a dream that helped us move in a certain direction, but we don't stay with that direction. We let go of that direction, and then that brings us to the next step, like this building of the sun. Like, okay, we're kind of making this path as we go. So we have a dream, and then it brings us somewhere, and we go towards it, but it's like a guiding star. It's like a star the wise men followed. You know, it's like a guiding star, and we know the stars move across the sky. So if we're following anything but a North Star, which is very fixed and heading towards that, if we're following any other star, we're going to be like, okay, this star, and then as the night, but that's almost intentional. As the night goes on, we're like, okay, now I'm going in this direction. So that's why the North Star is the one that doesn't move around the sky, and we like go towards that. That's our orientation point, where everything's rotating, not around it, but it appears to be like around it. So it could be like a North Star, but that has you going in the same direction. So anyway, the situation is, some dreams we're there just to get us to the next step. Other dreams are more North Star dreams, where we stay focused on them. So yeah, anyway. So this tarot reading is about one that feels more North Star to me. So Page of Wands is your job. Get enthusiastic and curious. So Wand is passion. Stay focused on something you're passionate about, or become more curious. Maybe it is a new passion. There's something about a new passion and getting curious, but this this is like a new thing that's happening, and you have your mission here is to, well, beginner mind, of course. Don't think you already know everything about where this is very risk taking. We have this caution here, and then we have Page of Wands, which is very risk taking, because there's passion involved, and there's vision involved, and like creativity involved, but you're the newbie. So be the newbie, embrace being the newbie. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what this is. You've never done this before, right? We have all these new moons about stuff you've never done before. So getting really curious about something and focusing on it, a new passion project, learn everything you can about it. That's your to-do list, is be the page, be the learner, be the beginner at like a passion project, a spiritual path, and even if you've been down it before, even if you've been down part of this path before, you are called to be in the beginner mode of just allow yourself to relearn anything you need to relearn, or being so open to new experiences. You've been in a very cautious mode, and now you're being asked to open to new experiences, new possibilities. Maybe you're not quite committing to anything yet, or maybe you're not quite taking concrete steps. But if there's a concrete offer, you're reading up on everything. You're figuring it all out. You're doing the research. You're not like, oh yeah, I know this offer. I've already done this. You're like asking a lot of questions, figuring it out. What's needed? What's necessary here? How do I follow this path? What's going on? Even if you feel very familiar with it, you're being asked to have a renewed sense of total curiosity. This is what if I woke up this morning and I'd never experienced this? What sorts of questions would I be asking? So we have this memory card, right? And we're anticipating something, and we maybe feel like we know already what's going to happen, but we just really don't, is what this Page of Wands is saying. So that's the mode you're meant to be in here as you approach this hanged man sort of coming back to life in this paused situation that got put sort of on ice for protection for that. So possible outcomes, 7 of Cups, some decisions that need to be made. Again, we had, look at the stars, all the stars in the sky, all the stars you could follow, all the stars that could guide you. And maybe in total, all of these options and choices do guide you. There's one that's really obvious, but you still need to think it through. So this is taking an intellectual approach to an emotional situation, or what is more or less an intuitive situation. There could be a lot of decisions that need to be made, a lot of technical issues in order for you to follow your heart, in order for you to go towards the thing that does seem the most obvious, a sort of North Star type energy. There could be a lot of decisions that need to be made, a lot of things to sort through and prioritize. There could be some prioritization that needs to happen here. What is your highest priority here? With the time, with the money that you have, what do you need to prioritize? Okay, and then one final card here. And it could be like, what's your priority in this situation? Like, just being very clear on, you know, if you're doing a job, are you just doing it for the money? Or are you doing it to meet other people? Like, or are you doing it to get your brand out there, get your name out there? There is something about your name here. Like, what is the priority, and staying focused on that? Well, also, I would say with 7 of Cups, also like accounting for other aspects as well, but being clear on your priority. The creative power. The mind often wants to see and know exactly what is around the corner. But to manifest, we have to give up certainty and embrace the creative process. That is this card here, when the weavers built the sun, and Page of Wands. Choosing to live creatively will bring you more joy and success than any amount of certainty ever could. You have been in a place of wanting certainty. Oh my gosh, this like basically summarizes this whole reading here. We've got 4 of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and when the weavers built the sun as this card. And then the quickening, the fast track with the Divine Mother moves us rapidly through life's challenges. Why are my glasses not working? The road can get a bit bumpy when traveling at her accelerated pace, nor will you often feel that you are in control of the navigation. This is part of the experience. When you are to be moved rapidly with divine help, best to just hold on to her and trust you'll get where you need to be. So there could be something that's been slow and been paused and been cautious, just goes whoosh, moves very quickly into a new place. So, all right. I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.